live video. Our first ones were huge successes. We're definitely going to be doing stuff like this more often.
It's very fun.
Yes, we got Jack and Jordan here, so we are definitely going to have a good time talking about NFL stuff. But first thing, while we're just getting started, talk about the AFC playoff picture. As of right now, the Chiefs and the Steelers hold the 1 and 2 seed. The Patriots are at the 3 seed. The Texans are at the 4 seed. So we'll go across this way, starting with Jordan. Who do you think will get the first round buys in the AFC and why? Jordan, we'll start with you.
So I'm going to start with one of the hottest teams in the NFL. A very fun team to watch is the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs will get the bye. I think they're going to win out here. They got a fairly easy schedule and a fairly easy division. They're the Chargers, of course, in the division. But I'll talk about the Chargers later. But I don't have a lot of faith in the Chargers, but that's a different topic. So I think the Chiefs will take it. Their defense is something that I don't like to see. I think their defense needs to improve for them to really do good. But I think they're going to be good enough to get them to a bye. And the second team, I think it is the Texans. I think the Texans going to win out. Texans, been playing really well. And, Sean Watson, DeAndre Hopkins, that defense really stepping up for that team. And other guys, they picked up Demaryius Thomas. Hopefully they can involve him. Kiki Cutie, he's a pretty good guy. Running game needs to have a little bit more work, although it's been getting a bit better, I guess you could say.
For
But
sure.
Texans team, and Kaimi Fairbairn,
Oh, yeah.
can't forget to mention him, great name. I think, they're a complete team, and, they've made quite a comeback from the beginning of the season. I remember watching one of the NFL things on TV, and they were talking about teams that, were doing that bad that can make a comeback, and my first instinct was Texans, and I was right. So that's my two teams.
All right, so you have the Chiefs number 1 seed, Texans 2 seed.
Yes.
All right, Jack, what do you think?
Well, I have the Chiefs number 1 seed. They will get a first round bye, definitely.
Yes, the
Yes.
Patriots are in the
Okay.
AFC.
Okay, I'm not big on football, so yeah.
Never mind.
Basically, I have the Chiefs number 1 seed and the Patriots coming up close behind, but it will be close for the second seed.
Number second.
All
The
right.
second seed, but I have the Patriots.
All right, that all you got? This.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll let
I
you-
really think the Patriots are going to be the number 1 seed. I really feel like that's not what the majority of NFL fans want because they're sick and tired of the Patriots always being in the AFC Championship and the Super Bowl. But I think they can win out, and I think that they always fool us. They start out slow. They maybe lose a game down the road. They look really bad against Tennessee.
Mhm.
But I think they could rebound, and I think that they have some divisional games left, and those will be easier games. So I think the Patriots, they're just one of those teams that heat up late in the season and into the playoffs. I think they'll do that again and get the first seed by winning out and getting some help from some other teams. And second, I think the Texans will get the number 2 seed because they are just playing really good football. Not all their wins are pretty, but they're doing enough to get it done. Whether it's getting a field goal late, whether it's a big defensive stop, whether if it's a great play by quarterback Deshaun Watson, they're doing enough. Their offensive line has gotten a lot better over these last 2 weeks, and I thought this Texans team was going to be a playoff team, but they very well could be a Super Bowl caliber team if they win all these games because they really have 6 winnable games left. I'll go through their schedule for you. They got Tennessee. This is really Tennessee, Cleveland, Indianapolis, the Jets, the Eagles, and the Jaguars. I do not see one game that I don't think they could win. Texans get the 2 seed.
Okay.
The only game in that sequence is I think the Colts have looked really hot. That could be another thing we talk
Yeah.
about here, but the
They
Colts,
beat them before.
yeah,
Really close game.
but
They-
the Colts have gotten better. Andrew Luck looking good. Marlon Mack, of course, he came back now. Adam Vinatieri, one of the best kickers in the league.
Oh, for sure.
And that defense getting a little better. Offensive line, they've gotten a lot better with their first round pick, Quentin Nelson. He's grown pretty good. Someone that not a lot of people are talking about, but something that this Colts team, especially against last week, they pummeled their opponent. Who did they play last week?
Last week they played Tennessee.
Yes, so they absolutely destroyed Tennessee, who came off the game winning against the Patriots. So I think the Colts are a team to look out in that division, but I don't think they're going to get nearly close to the Texans. But that could be a good game.
I have a question for you on what you said.
What?
So you said Patriots have a first seed and they end up going to the Super Bowl. Do you think that the Patriots would be able to beat the Rams or the Saints in the Super Bowl?
I think they can. I think the Patriots are still the Patriots. I know they had a really bad game last week, against the Titans team, but the Titans might be the most inconsistent team in football because you just never know with them. Like, you beat the Patriots by 3 scores, then you go to lose to the Colts by 3 scores. I don't know how to judge them or evaluate them because they're so, like, inconsistent. They're unpredictable. I think the Patriots are still a Super Bowl caliber team because they're just one of those teams that get hot down the stretch and into the playoffs. And another thing I really want to talk about AFC playoff wise is right now the Baltimore Ravens hold the 6th seed. They're 5-5. But look at other teams that are 5-5. Miami's 5-5. The Colts are 5-5. The Dolphins and the Colts play this week. The Bengals are 5-5. And then you've got some teams a little bit behind but still in it, like the Broncos who are 4-6. So there's still so many teams that could be contending for a wild card. So I just feel like that's something we need to take into account because, like as you said, the Colts were 1-5. Now they're 5-5, and I think they could very well make a wild card push. Not a division push, a wild card push.
And what you said about the Patriots there, I think it's been a long time, I guess, since you've seen the Patriots
Yeah.
lose in the playoffs. Of course, the Super Bowl last year,
Yeah.
but it's just something you don't see early. And of course, when they played, who was it, Tennessee? Yeah, they played Tennessee. They were down in that game early, just came back and ate them alive towards the end there. But so Patriots, Belichick and Brady, they just don't lose in the playoffs. They know what they're doing, and I think they could get it done now. Sean McVay and that Rams team, they got experience in the playoffs last year. Of course, they lost their first game, which was kind of disappointing for people who wanted to see them win. I was included in that. But I think that since they got experience in the playoffs, they might do better. And the Saints, I mean, Drew Brees, Sean Payton, they've never been there before, right? No, they've been there a while. They've been there before. They've won Super Bowls together, and I think it's going to be a fun playoff race this year. And I'm excited to see it. Of course, I don't want to see the season end, but
Oh yeah, I would definitely agree with that. There's so many. There's old teams, new teams. Like you got a couple teams like the Bears, the Texans, and then you got the Seahawks, who everyone I feel like counted out this year and said, okay, their time is done. But the Seahawks are 5-5, and the team that currently holds the final wildcard spot in the NFC is the Vikings, who are 5-4-1. So really, there's so many teams that we may think, oh, they're out of it, but if you really look at it mathematically, not really, because the wild card spots, not so much the division, they're just wide open. So we're gonna go. How many teams from the NFC North do you think will make the playoffs, and who will they be? We'll start with Jordan.
I think the Bears will make the playoffs, and I'm with Ryan on some of his views. I think the Packers will make a comeback and make it. Now, he'll probably tell you once it gets to him that he'll be big on Packers, Aaron Rodgers coming back, which I agree with. But Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones, they've really, they've made it an offense that you're not just looking for the pass every time. There's going to be running, and it's just something that the Packers haven't had recently, where you have to look for both the aspects of the game. And that defense, they look better. So some good sacks in their last game. Someone that I don't remember his name, but he was doing pretty good. One of the rushers there. So that defense looking better. Got to mention him, Jair Alexander. All those guys. So I think the Packers and of course the Bears, who are 8-3 right now. Or what is it, 8-3?
Yeah, it's 8-3.
Yeah, should know that. But so I think they will be the two from that division to make it. What about you, Jack? What do you think?
What are you doing?
What teams from the NFC North, which is the Bears, Vikings,
Okay, yeah.
Packers, and Lions, will make the playoffs?
I mean, the Bears will make the playoffs, definitely. And then there could be a wild card, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the wild card in that division, possibly
Doesn't have to
Green
be.
Bay.
Do you think that they will be the wild card, or do you think there will be another team be the wild card?
I feel like no, Green Bay is going to be a wild card, and the Bears are going to be definitely in as a seed, like seed number 4 or 5.
So do you think I think the Seahawks are going to be a wild card. So do you think the Seahawks will be a wild card?
They could be. They're going to come back for themselves.
Yeah. So do you think there's any other team in the NFC that could take the other wild card spot, or do you think it's just Packers?
Probably just the Packers. Really.
I'll say this about the Packers. Everyone, as soon as they lost to the Seahawks on Thursday night, everyone eliminated them. It's not like mathematically, they said, okay, you're done. But really, they're 4-5-1, and they have a road to potentially win that division if they win out. And remember, there was one year when the Packers were 4-6, and then won out, went 10-6, and won the division. And call me crazy now, but I think Green Bay wins out and takes the division. because they have a lot of division games left. They got games coming up in Minnesota and in Chicago. I think they win both of those games because this is the time where the Packers, their backs are against the wall. They have to win, but the thing is, they do win. The Packers will not only be in the playoffs, there will be playoff football at Lambeau Field this January. Packers win that division. Bears take the 5 seed as the wild card. That's what I say.
So who do you think the Bears are going to lose to then?
The Bear in the remaining schedule.
Yes, Rams probably,
Yeah, I think
and the Packers of course.
yes, I did say, and I think when the Bears go to Minnesota, I think Minnesota takes that one. So I think it'll be very close. I think it could come down to week 17. But I just don't get why people are essentially eliminating the Packers because Aaron Rodgers has shown us this so many times that this is the time of the year where they heat up. So I don't know why people are doubting them, but that's just what I think. And another thing, this Seahawks-Panthers game this week is huge for the wild card race. I think the winner of this game will get a wild card spot, and I think the Panthers are going to win. So I think Chicago and Carolina are going to be the wild cards this year. Even though the Panthers have not looked good, they'll rebound at home against Seattle.
Yeah, I'll just mention this right here. I'm not a big Panthers guy. If you know me, it's just not what I am. I think that the Panthers coming off of pretty bad losses past 2 weeks. Of course, they got destroyed by the Steelers, and they lost to a Lions team who's been really inconsistent. And that was just a bad game there. The missed 2-point conversion, which they should have got. That was kind of funny to watch for someone who doesn't like the Panthers like me. But so I think the Panthers have been, obviously people have, the Saints. They're in the Saints division, so there's no way they're winning that division. But I just don't think they're going to be good enough to take the wild card spot.
So who do you have instead taking the wild cards? Green Bay, right?
Yeah,
And
Green
somebody
Bay
else?
and Seahawks.
All right. I will say I was impressed with how Seattle played against Green Bay, but I think Aaron Rodgers still played great in that game. It wasn't him. And they started out good, they just couldn't finish, but I have faith in this Packers team because I've seen it so many times before. And anyone have anything else they want to bring up? Or?
I mean, I would want to say, like, for later, if he wants to go over his picks, because we did our picks, but
Oh,
he
we can
hasn't.
do that,
So
potentially.
Picks for what?
picks for the games that haven't already happened.
What were you going to say, Ryan?
I was just going to say, interesting topic. The Rams and the Saints, they both have one loss, but the Saints have the tiebreaker. Do you think either or both of those teams will win out?
Which teams? The Saints and
The Saints and the Rams. Will either of them win out?
I think, honestly, I think they could both win out. And, the Saints, their offense is putting up a lot of points. And, that offense is great. Their running back tandem is, in my opinion, the best in the league.
I would agree.
Drew Brees, my opinion, one of the best in the league. He is definitely one of the best in the league. Could be the best in the league, depending on what quarterback you're looking for. Which is the thing with quarterbacks. There's all different types of quarterbacks that, like Aaron Rodgers is that guy that can, move and throw the ball outside the pocket. He makes teams get, he's a scary guy. Tom Brady's a pocket passer. That's kind of what Drew Brees is. He's more of a pocket passer as well. So there's all different types of quarterbacks. So it's really hard to compare quarterbacks. But Drew Brees, one of the best. That defense is looking better from the beginning of the season. They were bad in the beginning of the season. I had them as my team for fantasy football. It's not very fun. Michael Thomas, he's obviously one of the better wide receivers in the league. And then, Drew Brees just makes wide receivers kind of like, who was it? Tommy Lee Lewis, I think his name is. And like guys like Carr, all those guys, he makes them look good. Kind of like something we've seen from Tom Brady with those receivers. Like, they're on the Patriots, look good, then they get traded to another team. Like, who is this person? So, I think the Saints can do that. And then the Rams, of course, that defense, against their secondary is something that scares me. Their pass rushers, that's great. Aaron Donald, Sue, all those guys, although Sue hasn't played the role that many people expected him to. But, I think they're good, but their secondary needs to get some work. Of course, they got some injuries in that secondary. Against the Chiefs, of course, put up a lot of points, but that's the Chiefs, the explosive offense. But, I think, especially I'll just talk about this for a second. The Chiefs and the Rams with their defense, kind of talked about this earlier, but those teams might not be able to make it far with defenses that can't take them all the way.
Okay.
So for game picks, first of all, the Rams and the Chiefs, who both played on Monday Night Football, they're both on a bye. And then the Bears beat the Lions on Thanksgiving. It's the first time the Bears won in Detroit since 2012. Cowboys, that score was 23-16.
The Redskins lost to the Cowboys 31 to 23. Mark Cuban had 180 receiving yards. That's the most for the player in Dallas since 2012. And the Saints won in their home stadium against the Falcons 31 to 17. Moved to 10 and 1 and have won 10 straight. So now for the other picks for Jordan. So we have the Raiders at the Ravens on CBS at 12 o'clock Central Time.
Look at you advertising the networks.
Okay, so that game I'm gonna have to pick the Ravens. Of course, the Raiders coming off a win against Cardinals, which Cardinals, we beat a team. But anyways, so I think the Ravens, they've looked good. Now Lamar Jackson, people are kind of going on a hype train with him. I'm not on that train yet. I think you get 100 rushing yards in a game. You cannot win a game with someone who's going to run the ball a bunch of times. You put in a linebacker that just is a QB spy, and you just stop Lamar Jackson. It's kind of like a Taysom Hill thing with New Orleans. You know what's going to happen basically. So of course when he's in the whole game, you don't know if he's going to pass or run it or hand it off. So which would kind of be annoying for a defense, which could help. But I mean he can't sustain the 100-yard games. Like that. So, but anyways, I still think the Ravens will pull out that one, especially with their defense. And Justin Tucker, gotta throw him in there too.
Another thing to add is the Raiders are 31st in run defense, and Lamar Jackson likes to run the ball, so watch out for that. All right, another game on CBS, 12 o'clock Central Time. The Jaguars at the Bills.
Jaguars at the Bills. Now, the Bills are a team that I don't think I think they're gonna start doing better. They're not gonna, of course, make a playoff run or anything, but they're going to do better. Is it David Anderson, right, the quarterback? Derek Anderson, got the D right. But, I mean, he looked good in his last game. So, no, I don't think they're going to be able to pull this one out, but I think that Jacksonville will win this game. Jacksonville, they have not looked very good the past few weeks, but I think they're going to be able to pull this game out against a team that, needs some help.
Jackson just stepping out for a few minutes.
All right, yep, the Jaguars have lost 6 straight, so we'll see if that streak
It's almost
ends.
since they were 1 season wonder or something. Never mind.
All right, the Seahawks, who just came off a huge win at home against the Packers on Thursday Night Football, at the Panthers, who came off a bad loss to the Lions.
Yeah, so I think the Seahawks are going to win that game. The Seahawks team, they just looked really good. And, they kind of put it all together now. Doug Baldwin looked better in that game. They got him involved, made it so Tyler Lockett's not the only person we're looking at, who basically to me is just a deep threat. Russell Wilson looked better. Chris Carson looked better. He did pretty good. And then, of course, what's his name? My fantasy team dropped him. Anyway, the other running back, Rashad Penny,
27th overall pick in the draft.
he hasn't lived up to expectation, but I think they're going to try to involve more. We'll see what he does. And that defense, obviously not the Legion of Boom that they once were, but I think that they're going to make a comeback against the Panthers team that I talked about earlier. I don't really like.
Excuse me.
So I think Seahawks win that game.
Interesting.
I've been having a bit too much Sprite.
Thanks.
Just for your information, that game is on Fox if you're interested in watching it. The next game is on CBS, 12 o'clock Central Time. The Browns at the Bengals, a battle of the AFC North.
Browns at Bengals. Now, I think the Browns, after, coming off, they were on bye last week, I believe.
Yes.
So,
Okay, just make sure to look at them details.
What?
Look at them details
Okay.
of each team.
Okay.
It's going to be a close game.
Okay. So the Browns coming off a bye against a big win against the Falcons. That was something that, they needed. And Mayfield looked good. He woke up that morning, he was feeling dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
So, it was something, just cool to see from the Browns team that, has struggled. Now, the Bengals team, I'm not sure if A.J. Green is going to play yet. Now, if he does play, that might alter my decision. But, of course, Tyler Boyd has he's done better, and that defense has not been good enough to me. I think the Browns are going to pull it out in this game. I'm starting to like the Browns more. I want to see Jarvis Landry get more involved in that offense. Of course, Nick Chubb has been a breakout once they traded Carlos Hyde. Baker Mayfield's playing better. Defense is playing better with Denzel Ward, and then so I think they're going to be able to get it done. And of course, Myles Garrett, their first pick last year in the draft, so I think they'll be able to get that game done.
So you're saying the Browns snapped their streak of losing 25 road games in a row.
Yes, I do.
That's a pretty embarrassing stat. After
Usually the Browns are going to lose.
They're gonna win.
after that, the next game is on CBS, 12 o'clock Central Time. Patriots at the Jets, and Tom Brady has been very good against the Jets throughout his entire career.
Yes. Now, I think, of course, the Patriots coming off their bad week. There's no way they do bad again, right? I mean, Tom Brady and this offense going out there, I believe that they'll have Sony Michelle back for this game.
Heck yeah, they will.
So, if you play against him in fantasy, it might be a little disappointing for you, but if you can't tell, I'm playing against Ryan this
Oh
week.
yes.
But
He got 6 points out of 3 plays.
okay, I'll just mention that real quick. Matthew Stafford got like .72 points, and then let's see, Jordan Howard got like .75, and then
Kenny
Yeah.
Galladay.
Kenny Galladay got 4, which is 4.5 or something, which is pretty decent. I think he got 90 yards.
And Julio Jones got more than all 3 of them combined. Go on.
He also
Okay.
fumbled.
He also got more of them all combined.
We'll keep going. Patriots, Jets. Okay. So I think Patriots team will be able to pull it off. Jets offense has not looked really good. This Patriots defense kind of inconsistent, but I think they'll be able to pull it together this week. Of course, I picked it on fantasy. Let's go Patriots defense this week.
How are they available? The
Patriots
Patriots
defense?
defense were on free agency in
Yeah.
fantasy? It surprises me.
So I think the Patriots will pull that game off.
Who'd you have on defense before the Patriots?
Who did I have?
Whose defense did you have before you had the Patriots?
Once I dropped the Saints, it's been pick up and play defenses the whole year for me. So
Why'd you drop the Saints? Were they on bye?
they were doing bad.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But who was it last week? Do you remember what defense I had last week? It was against one of the teams that did really good. I was really disappointed.
You're the Jets, right?
I don't think the Jets was last week, was it?
Was it the Cardinals?
Yeah, it was the Cardinals. Yeah, so playing the Raiders, I expected the Cardinals to do it. They didn't do as good as I wanted them to, but whatever. Next game.
The next game is the Giants at the Eagles, 2 struggling NFC East teams.
Now this is a kind of hard game to predict. Now, of course, I want to say Carson Wentz and his team are going to come back and win this game. I thought that I didn't think they were going to win last week, of course, against the Saints, but I thought they'd put up some points at least, not just 7. And then just Giants defense not looking as good as they could be, but this offense is looking good. So I think it's really going to come down to Eagles defense is getting injured. This offense for the Giants is better. Saquon and Odell, they've gotten better, making Eli Manning look better than he did beginning of the season. That being said, I think that the Eagles will be able to get it done. They got Zach Ertz in the red zone. Of course, Alshon Jeffrey, a big target. They got guys like Jordan Matthews out there, Nelson Aguilar. And then, of course, the running back, a tough position. But they got number 33, Adams. I don't remember his first name. I'm sorry about that. But he scored last week.
Okay, Matt Adams?
I'm not sure. Maybe it's Josh or something.
I don't know. I don't know.
Josh Adams sounds.
Josh Adams sounds right.
I'm gonna go check
Anyways,
that.
he
I'll be right
scored
back.
last week on a decent run. That was their only touchdown. So I think that the Eagles will be able to pull this game out from a divisional rival to keep them in contention for playoffs.
Giants have won 2 straight. That game is on Fox, by the way,
Here's Josh Adams.
Yeah.
at 12 o'clock Central Time. After that, another Fox game, 12 o'clock Central Time as well. The 49ers at the Buccaneers, 2 teams that at the beginning of the season everyone thought would be really good. And of course, for the 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo goes down,
And McKinnon.
and McKinnon as well. And for the Buccaneers, is the quarterback controversy. I don't even know what's happening there.
Yeah, so Jameis Winston will be playing this game. He did go Jameis Winston in fantasy.
He was
now-
free.
He was. So, anyways,
Those are your
now this Buccaneers offense, Buccaneers defense, they've been, just say it, they have not been good. I mean, there's been way too many points put up against them in basically every game this season. I mean, they're not good enough to sustain to sustain a lot of teams. Now, 49ers have Nick Mullins at quarterback again, who I actually kind of like. I'm not gonna jump on the Nick Mullins hype train at all yet, but Nick Mullins, he's good enough to keep this team going, I guess. George Kittle, he's been doing pretty good. we'll see if guys like Marquise Goodwin and Pierre Garcon can start getting into this game more wide receivers. Matt Breida at running back, he had a pretty good game last week before the bye. So I think they're going to be able to pull it out against the struggling Buccaneers team. Now, the Buccaneers offense, let's see if Jameis Winston can, try not to throw 3 interceptions like all the quarterbacks have been doing, but we'll see what happens.
Now moving on to the 3:05 Central Time games on Fox. The Cardinals at the Chargers. Jordan, what do you have on that
Sorry.
pick?
I'm sorry.
What do you guys answer that question?
What's the question?
What do you guys think of Cardinals and the Chargers? Ryan, we know your opinions about the Chargers. So.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit
Overrated. James.
I mean, they haven't proven enough to me. I mean, I know they're 7-3, but they haven't shown me that if they get into the playoffs, like, who have you beaten? You've beaten like the Browns, the Bills, the 49ers. You haven't beaten enough good teams to show me that I have enough faith in you to see if you can make a playoff run. Because like, I don't see the Chargers beating Kansas City on the road or Houston on the road or Pittsburgh. Really, any of those teams that are going to win the division in the AFC on the road, Chargers will be a one and done in the playoffs if they get there.
And I have the Chargers winning also. I feel like the Cardinals have a chance. It won't be a blowout, but it will be Chargers will win. Okay?
That's an interesting
Yeah.
aspect there. Arizona just looked bad, honestly.
My bad. I meant to say Arizona sucks. Continue.
Okay, Josh Rosen, he hasn't been playing to the standards that organization or even he expected himself to be playing to. Of course, being a little cocky when he was drafted, that there were 10 mistakes before him, right? Was it 10? 9 mistakes. He was drafted at 10. It's just something that he's kind of bringing them back. He's turning the ball over a lot. Now, David Johnson, he's almost been non-existent this year. It was kind of annoying. I think he's pretty good. I think recently with their new offensive coordinator, they've been trying to get him involved more, which is good for that offense because they need him. But the Chargers, I mean, look, I agree with them. They're a little bit overrated, but they're going to be able to finish this game. Phillip Rivers, Melvin Gordon, but all those guys, Keenan Allen, they're going to be able to get it done.
All right, next game, Dolphins at Colts. Colts have won 4 in a row. Very impressive.
That game, I think the Colts will be able to win. Now, I was talking about the Colts earlier. I like the Colts team. Not going to re-explain it to you, but the Dolphins, they've been struggling as of recently. Of course, I don't know. I think is Tannehill starting that game?
I'm not sure who's going to be. I can check.
I think he's expected to start.
So, anyway, still, I don't think that team is good enough to beat the Colts, who are looking good right now.
All right, the next game is. Oh, by the way, that game was on Fox 3:05.
Really?
Or no, that was CBS.
Really,
No,
2 AFC teams on Fox? I don't think so.
CBS, sorry.
Watch that game.
Here's another CBS game at 3:25. The Steelers at the Broncos. The Steelers are one of 2 teams without a road loss this season on the road against the Broncos.
Steelers haven't had a road
Tannehill
loss this
is
season.
playing.
They
Yeah.
haven't lost on the road this season.
Yeah, they're one of the 2 teams that haven't lost.
That's kind of surprising. Steelers have been known to lose on the road with Ben Roethlisberger not playing his best games on the road. But besides that,
Big fan.
Steelers, I think, obviously Le'Veon Bell, he's non-existent this year because obviously I didn't sign. James Conner has stepped up in that role. Of course, they're giving a lot of touches, which he's been able to manage well. Antonio Brown, looking at like Antonio Brown, Big Ben, playing good. Juju Smith, that offensive line is great. So I think they'll be able to get a
Just
Broncos
don't say
team.
Schuster.
Who, won last week against the Chargers, but won't be able to get it back. My phone is going off.
Sorry.
All right, well,
Probably about that.
while that's happening, we'll move on to the next game. This is a Sunday Night Football on NBC. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth on this call. As usual, 7:20 p.m. Central Time. It's an important NFC North matchup between the Packers and the Vikings. Of course, the Vikings were on Sunday Night Football last week, and they fell just short to the Bears. We'll see what happens, according to Jordan, this time.
Yes. So Packers and Vikings, like you said, it's also a tough game. Vikings were struggling there against a good defense, and the Bears last Sunday night. Is it at Vikings or at or at Packers?
It's
It's in
like
At,
Minnesota.
in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Well, that being said, I still think the Packers will be able to pull this game out. I was talking about the Packers earlier. Aaron Jones, Aaron Rodgers, that defense has stepped up. What's his name? I don't know why I can't remember.
Devontae
his name.
Adams?
Yeah, Devontae Adams. You know, he stepped up into that role that they were looking for. I don't know why I didn't know his name, but I think the Packers will be able to get it done against Vikings defense. Who's been on and off this year. 10 sacks against the Lions and going and did a little bit into Bears offense, but so I think the Packers won that game.
And finally, Monday Night Football on ESPN, 7:15 Central Time. It's the Titans
First.
at the Texans in an AFC South matchup.
Yes, game I talked about a little bit about the Texans earlier. Deshaun Watson, that defense, the Andrew Hopkins, even those are wide receivers in there. Straight for Demaryius Thomas, which I'd still like to see them involved in that offense more because I think that offense can be a lot more explosive with him in there and Kiki Cutie. And did they draft a tight end this year?
Oh yeah, they drafted two, Jordan Atkins and Jordan Thomas.
Yeah, so I'd like to see them get them in there. And then is it CJ Fedorowicz? Is that the other guy? Is he still there?
He retired.
He retired.
Ryan.
I just know him from Madden.
Oh.
So, I'd like to see them get their tight end involved in that offense more because that's not something they look at. Besides that, Titans have been on and off this year, so I think the Texans will be able to pull that game out against a Titans team that's been inconsistent.
All right, well, that's it for the games. I have one more question for you. Last stream,
Last
both
question.
Ryan and Jack.
Just so you guys know, I gotta head out soon. So
Both Ryan and Jack gave their Super Bowl picks last time. Jack made a little mistake, but he's able to
Yeah.
revise it. What are your Super Bowl picks?
my Super Bowl picks. All right, so I think that from the NFC, the Saints will be able to get in. I think the Saints are just a really good team. I heard today that Peter Schrager said the only team that could beat the Saints is the Bears, which honestly I like to see happen as a Chicago Bears fan. But
He did say that.
what?
He did say that.
So I'd like to see that, but I think the Saints are just too good a team to not beat them. So the Saints will get in, which I predicted from the beginning of the season. I predicted from the beginning of the season Patriots, Saints, and I also I said earlier Patriots haven't really lost in the playoffs a while now. It's to me it'd come down to I think the Patriots will be able to beat the Steelers again. Unfortunately, I would like. I'm not a Patriots hater, but I do like the Steelers. Steelers are one of my favorite teams out there, but I think they'll be able to beat them. So it comes down to that matchup: Chiefs versus Patriots. Now Patriots won that battle earlier. They were in Foxborough. Now, according to my predictions earlier, I think they'd probably be in Kansas City. I think the Patriots will be able to pull out that game, and then there'll be a Saints-Patriots game.
Did you say Saints?
Saints. And I think the Saints will be able to pull it out. I think Drew Brees, having an MVP year, will finish an MVP year off with a Super Bowl championship.
All right, sorry we didn't really get to the Q&A portion of this, but hopefully.
Do we have anything or no?
No, there were no questions.
All right.
Oh.
Is anybody watching?
There were people coming in occasionally.
All right, I'll
There's
take
no
it.
one
No
there.
one's watching right now.
What was our high? What was our high?
It still stays on there after, so it's fine.
What?
We got viewers.
Yeah, I just gotta say one.
There was one comment that I like to add is not here anymore. But hold on, let me find it really quickly.
I'm just saying a few things while I find that. Another thing, if you have Texans wide receiver Demaryius Thomas in fantasy, either pick him up or start him because I think he gets his first touchdown in the Texans uniform today. What?
You mean on Monday?
Or on Monday. Yeah.
Okay.
Monday.
And the one question that we
Monday.
did have, it was from the Lotus channel, and he said, "Can you do the Lotus?"
I'm not sure about that.
We'll
Maybe.
have to see what that is.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Don't want to say anything before I don't know what it is. It'd be something
Next
weird.
episode.
Yes, so I think we're gonna end the stream here. I gotta
Yeah.
head out. So thank you guys for watching. All you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
have looked at
Subscribe,
this.
comment, turn on notifications.
What?
We'll shout you out, even though we're not that popular.
Yes.
Stop dabbing.
See you guys. Bye.
Adios.
See ya.